Mr. Chairman, sir, I thank the honorable member from Nongstoin constituency, Shri Gabriel Walang MLA, for moving this motion for discussion in this budget session, and the honorable member taking part, Ba Arden Basaymoit, MLA Nongkrem, Shri Rupert Mumin, MLA Kharkuta, Dr. Celestine Longdo, MLA Umsning, Leader of Opposition, Shri Roni B. Longdo, MLA Malem, Shri Saling Sangma, MLA Gambigre, for raising their points and suggestions. Sir, under the 6th schedule of the Constitution, overall management of land in the scheduled areas based in the Autonomous District Council, but power of the state government under the Constitution also exists side by side. However, statutory responsibilities still remain with the government in the revenue and disaster management departments, as also superintendents of administration of government lands. The Assam Land and Revenue Regulation 1886 was adopted in the year 1972. The ALRR was adopted by Meghalaya, is applicable to all government lands in the state. Certain provisions of the Act are applicable more or less throughout the state, subject to some exception or modification with respect to registration of land in autonomous district councils. Government in various departments has large area of land spread all over the state. These lands are occupied by various government departments and are administered by the concerned department under the general supervision and control of General Administration Department and Revenue Department. The Meghalaya Land Survey and Records Preparation Act 1980 provides for cadastral survey of land in the state and preparation of land records. The Act was amended in the year 1991 to involve the District Council in implementation of the provisions of the Act, as the scheme of cadastral survey has been decided to be implemented by the District Council with financial and technical assistance from the state government. Assistance is being provided to district councils by the state government for the purpose. Sir, the private land ownership in Meghalaya coexists alongside the traditional community land tenure system and government-controlled land. Private lands in Meghalaya are owned by individuals or entities, distinct from the collective ownership prevalent in many indigenous communities. Private land can be acquired through purchase, inheritance, extra. The transfer of private land involves formal documentation and registration, and the ownership and management of private land are governed by various laws and regulations, including the Meghalaya Land Transfer Act and other relevant land laws. Sir, for the procedure of allotment of government land, sir, as I mentioned earlier, the government in various departments have large area of land spread all over the state. The procedure for allotment of government land involves several steps and adhere to specific rules and regulations, which are: A, sir, the government departments identify their land requirements based on their operational needs, infrastructure, or other specific purpose. B, sir, the concerned government department submits a request for land allotment, which includes details such as the purpose of land use, area, and location, along with justification for the allotment. C, sir, upon receiving the request, the GAD verifies the legitimacy of the request and evaluates the proposed land used in accordance relevant policies and guidelines. The proposal is forwarded to Revenue and Disaster Management Department for approval, and on further examination of the proposal request, and if it is deemed approval and in compliance with applicable rules and regulations, the allotment is approved by the competent authority. The procedure for transfer of private land, sir. The enactment of the Meghalaya Transfer Land Regulation Act 1971 is to regulate transfer of land in Meghalaya for the protection of the interests of the scheduled tribes of the state. The transfer of the private land follows a stringent procedure, which the buyer submits an application to concerned Deputy Commissioner. The application includes details such as the names and addresses of buyers and seller, description of the land, sale agreement, and other verified documents. B, sir, upon receiving the request, Deputy Commissioner verifies the legitimacy of the request and evaluates the proposal in accordance with the provisions laid down in the Meghalaya Land Transfer Regulation Act 1972. C, sir, the proposal is then forwarded with recommendation to the Revenue and Disaster Management Department for approval. And on further examination of the proposal or request, and if it is deemed appropriate and in accordance with the provisions laid down in the Meghalaya Land Transfer Regulation Act 1972, the proposal or request is approved by the competent authority. Sir, alienation of tribal lands is a very sensitive issue, and the government of Meghalaya, since the inception of the statehood, has tried to tackle it comprehensively by the enactment of the Meghalaya Transfer of Land Regulation Act in the year 1971. The purpose of enactment of this act is to regulate transfer of land in Meghalaya for the protection of the interests of the scheduled tribes of the state. The act came into force in the year 1972. The Meghalaya Transfer of Land Regulation Act 1971, Meghalaya Act 1 of 1972, extend to the tribal areas within the state of Meghalaya as specified in Part 2 of the table appended to paragraph 20 of the 6th schedule to the Constitution, subsection 2 of section 1. With the enactment of this act, land in Meghalaya, which includes immovable property of every description, and any rights in or such property cannot be transferred by a tribal to a non-tribal or by a non-tribal to another non-tribal except with previous sanction of the competent authority, and any transfer of land made in contravention shall be void and shall not be enforceable in any court. Sir, the Act has various provisions which fulfill the intent of the legislature when it was enacted, and I would like to highlight some of the important provisions as follows. Section 3. It mentioned that no land in Meghalaya shall be transferred by a tribal to a non-tribal or by a non-tribal to another non-tribal except with previous sanction of the competent authority. This section was further strengthened by an amendment as early as in the year 1972 by Act 1 of 1973 by adding a proviso which stated that provided that the government of Meghalaya is satisfied may from time to time by notification prohibit any transfer of land within such area or areas as may be specified in the notification, and thereupon the competent authority shall not sanction any such transfer of land under the provision of this act within such area or areas. During the course of time, this section was further amended by the legislature in the year 1991, Act 11 of 1991, which added another proviso which stated that, provided further that no notification has made under the proceeding proviso shall apply to transfer of land for any of the purpose mentioned in Clause E or Clause F of subsection 1 of Section 4. Therefore, sir, the two important exceptions allowed by the amendment of 1991 are Section 4(1)(e), whether the land proposed to be transferred is required as a place of public religious worship by any community or as burial or cremation ground. To such Section 4(1)(f), whether the land sought to be transferred is for the purpose of implementing a scheme to promote the interests of the tribals in the field of education or industry. Section 4. This section lays down in details the procedure of the followed in any matter of the transfer of land. It mentions that in granting or refusing sanction under Section 3, the competent authority shall take into account the following matters according to the circumstances of each case. A. Whether the non-tribal hold any other land in Meghalaya. B. Whether there is any other tribal willing to take the land on transfer at the market value. C. Whether the non-tribal seeking to take the land or transfer is carrying on any business, profession or vocation in or near the area, and whether the purpose of such business, profession or vocation, it is necessary for him to reside in the area. D. Whether the proposed transfer is likely to promote the economic interests of the scheduled tribes in the area. E. Whether the land proposed to be transferred is required as a place of public religious worship by any community or as burial or cremation ground. F. Sir, whether the land sought to be transferred is for the purpose of implementing a scheme to promote the interests of the tribal in the field of education or industry. This section also mandates the competent authority to record its decision in writing along with the reasons thereof. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, at this juncture, I would like to highlight that since the enactment of this Act, certain exemptions which have been put under Section 11. This section contemplates that nothing contained in this Act shall apply to A. Any transfer of land as security for any loan granting by such banking company, cooperative society, or other credit institution as the government of Meghalaya may by notification specify in this behalf, provided that a banking company, cooperative society, or other credit institution as notified above by the government of Meghalaya shall not transfer any land to a non-tribal except with the previous sanction of the competent authority as provided in Section 3. B. Sir, the letting out on rent of any building standing on land. C. Sir, any transfer of land to or in favor of government or district council. D. Sir, any transfer of land to or in favor of 1. Any company or corporation society including cooperative society, autonomous body or association wholly or substantially owned and controlled or managed by government and which the government of Meghalaya may by notification specify in this behalf. 2. A municipal corporation, municipality or town community constituted under any law. Sir, the government of Meghalaya in the revenue and disaster management regulates various applications on matters relating to a. Transfer of land which include give, sale, exchange, mortgage, lease, surrender, will. B. Change of land use of leased land. C. Inclusion or and deletion of names in the lease documents of the leased land. D. Regularization of excess area of the leased land. E. Settlement or allotment of government land, new lease. Sir, the government has put in place various safeguard mechanisms to ensure that provisions of the Act are followed stringently. Some of them are the notification dated 7 June 1978 prohibits transfer of land by a non-tribal to a tribal to a non-tribal or by a non-tribal to another non-tribal within the areas specified below. The areas within the Khasi Hills district except the area to which the Act aforesaid does not apply. 2. The area within the Jaintia Hills district. 3. The areas within the West Khasi Hills district. Notification dated 2nd February 1979 prohibits transfer of land by a tribal to a non-tribal or by a non-tribal to another non-tribal within the areas specified below. Number 1, the areas within the West Garo Hills district except the area within Moza. Number 6. 2. The area within the East Garo Hills district. 3. Allotment or settlement of land or government land for private purpose will no longer be considered as per Office Memorandum Number RDS 28/92/27 dated 24 June 1998. Revenue or renewal of lease and enhancement of land revenue for government land lease to individual has to be renewed after a period of 30 years as per Office Memorandum RDS 69/87/25 dated 25th January 1988. The procedure to be adopted for revenue plots by way of lease agreement in which the department, while processing any case, abides by the Meghalaya Transfer of Land Regulation Act 1971 and Meghalaya Transfer of Land Regulation Rule 1974, has been clearly indicated in instruction issued white letter number RDS 53/86 PT/91 dated 20th June 1998. Further transfer of government revenue land, government to lessee. Rule 4, 5 and 6 of the MTLR Rule 1974 and direction of government in the revenue department from time to time are followed by the competent authority while processing any application of the land transfer. For transfer of land from tribal to non-tribal, especially to the companies, Rule 456 and single window agency clearance, consent to operate, consent to establish, NOC from district council and local authorities, inspection, report, maps, land documents, public notice, and direction of government in the revenue department from time to time are followed by the competent authority while processing any application of land transfer. Clause 456 and 19 of the lease agreement issued by Deputy Commissioner specified certain conditions which are: Clause 4, that if the land is utilized not for the purpose it was leased out without the permission of Deputy Commissioner, it will deem to be a breach of the lease term liable to be determined under Clause 19 of the agreement. Clause 5, that if the land is not put into use within a period of 10 years from the date of issue of lease, the government reserves the right to cancel the lease and to take over the land and dispose it of in the manner the government deem it fit. Clause 6, it says that on the said land being surrendered under Clause 5, the government shall pay compensation for the building and other structures, including trees planted and raised by the lessee, at an amount as may be valued by the Deputy Commissioner. Clause 19, that on determination of the term of this lessee, his or her heirs respective and assigned shall have the first offer of renewal thereof on terms to be fixed by the government, and that if such offer is refused, the lessee's interest or that of his or her heirs representative and the interest of any holding through or under him, his or her heirs representatives and assigned as tenant, mortgage, or otherwise shall absolutely cease and determine. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, one important aspect of land administration in our land is that under Section 3 of the 6th Schedule to the Constitution, the management of land and forests also rests in the Autonomous District Council, which are empowered to make laws with respect to land management and administration. There are 3 district councils in the state of Meghalaya, namely Khasi Hills Autonomous District Council, number 2 Jaintia Hills Autonomous District Council, and Garo Hills Autonomous District Council. These respective district council, which under the 6th schedule of the Constitution are empowered to make laws with respect to land management and administration extra, have enacted respectively legislation touching upon the basic land system of the areas under their jurisdiction. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the right to fair compensation and transparency in Land Acquisition, Rehabilitation and Resettlement Act 2013 also lays down certain safeguards to check the land alienation amongst the tribals in general. One of the purposes of this act is to ensure safeguard against displacement in consultation with institutions of local self-government by way of special provisions have been made for scheduled tribes under Section 41 and 42, which protect their interests. As per Section 41(1), as far as possible, no acquisition of land shall be made in the scheduled areas. As per Section 41(2), where such acquisition does take place, it shall be done only as a demonstrable last resort. As per Section 41(3), in case of acquisition or alternation of any land in scheduled areas, the prior consent of the concerned Autonomous District Council is necessary. The RFCTLARR Act 2013 also lays down the procedure and manner of rehabilitation and resettlement. In short, the Act provides that any land acquisition in the tribal areas of Meghalaya shall be done with the consent of the Autonomous District Council. Therefore, sir, in view of the mentioned above points, it is clear that government, while processing any case of transfer, mutation, mortgage, will extra, proceed as per the provision laid down in the Meghalaya Transfer of Land Regulation Act 1971, Act 1 of 1972, and Meghalaya Transfer of Land Regulation Act 1974. Sir, as point raised by different members regarding regarding with this transfer of mining land, mining lease. So, sir, mining lease is issued by the mining and geology department, sir. We only give the revenue clearance, and the mining lease has been issued by the mining and geology departments. And there are many points raised by different members, sir. So most of the point, some of them is a suggestion which has been noted down by our departments, and some of them is a question raised, and I try to explain, sir, the procedure followed by the revenue departments, and I believe that my reply to the members would be satisfied, and therefore, sir, I would like to request the honourable member to kindly withdraw the motion. So, with these few submissions, sir, with this few reply, I resume my seat. Thank you, sir.
Mover of the motion, you may seek one clarification.
Yes, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I would like to seek a few clarifications. The government is intending to protect the land, and so many statements and the law enact had been extensively replied by the Honorable Minister. So I express my gratitude to the Minister for your reply and with the acts and the laws that you have done. But there's one thing that I need clarifications. Land belongs to the revenue departments, and the minister in charge was saying that the land which is doing the lease in the area of industries are done by the mining and geology department. So I was confused because why land is a land and why other departments are intervened in the matter of the revenue department. That I want to seek a clarification, one. And another important aspect is that, you see, our land has been alienated mostly not on selling by a non-tribal to a non-tribal, not on purchase, but maximum has been doing on the lease. So this is become a threat to our society. If more and more land are giving lease to the company, what will happen to our next generation? That's, I need to seek some clarification.
Yes, sir. When it comes to lease of land for setting up of industries, it does come to the Revenue and Disaster Management Department. But when it comes to the mining lease, we only give the clearance, and the lease is done by the Mining and Geology Department, sir. So our intention is not to lease the land to any non-tribals for the purpose of losing our land, but all we want is that when we lease, after thoroughly follow the procedures, then after fully satisfied by what is their intention of setting up the industries, then only, sir, we go ahead with the lease of land. Otherwise, if we feel that this proposal is not for the benefits of the tribal people of our state, so this kind of proposal, it can be rejected, and we will reject it. And we make sure that we will not allow any misuse of our land when it comes to tribal lands in our state, and will protect it, sir, as per this, as per I've mentioned the rules, and then all these clause which we needs to be followed. We make sure that our land is safe, and we will protect it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.